I was mute. Sorry. So okay, now am I audible? तो ऐसा बहुत अजीब लग रहा होगा ना, मैं हाथ वैसे ला रहा था, तो ठीक है, चल, नो issues. Now it is fine. Yeah. And by the way, like I was answering the Ayush Pandey question that he maybe he's asking that uh, yes, our courses are all ready. So you are like, I'm pretty sure that if you get enrolled into any of the courses that is provided by Let's Upgrade, like full stack web development and full stack data science, you're like, I'm damn sure that you're gonna get a job. So nothing to worry about that. All are job ready course, yeah, job guaranteed actually. So that's great. So here we are, and let's start. So first of all, I'm just going to give you a quick demo, like what we are going to achieve today. And as I told you that after like day three, like from day three, we are going to make some stuff. So that's I'm just going to show you what we are going to make today. So here, like I have made a very basic HTML where basically I have listed all the topics that we are going to cover today. So we are going to cover array, loops, and data manipulation. I think order is not correct here. So DOM manipulation and proper manipulation of the DOM. Okay, and little bit of functionality. So you basically you can change the background color of this website if you just click over here. So as you can see, the background color of this website is changing. So we are going to make this thing today. And by the way, don't, and we are also like, I have a surprise topic for you at the very end of the session. If we are able to like make this project, like it's not a project actually, it's little bit of assignment work. So if we are like agar ho jata hai, so I will just give you a like bonus topic. So stay till the end. And okay, so let's start. Selvi, okay, let me just see the chat, like what you people are saying. Okay. There we are. Okay, nice tab background. Okay, thank you for that. Yes, there was a quiz yesterday. So, like, I'm just going to announce the winner in the middle of this session. So basically, I'm just trying to hook you people up so that you can't leave. So that's why I'm just holding you. Okay, we want views. That's why. So here we are. By the way, let's just start. By the way, let me just clear out everything. Day 4. Okay. So here I've created a very basic HTML page. So nothing so fancy. Again, very basic page with some list items. So like some ordered and unordered list. I have used these ordered and unordered lists to create this web page. I don't feel like it's too difficult for you to make this HTML page. Okay. So let me just close this. Let's just go live and let's just focus to our, let's just get into our JavaScript file, because it is, what is it? We are actually working on JavaScript. That's right. Let me just see what is our first topic. So our first topic is arrays. So what is this arrays is? And let me just tell you, array is one of the most important data type. Basically, all the data types and every kind of data is very important. But let me just show you to you what is arrays. For those who are like very new to the programming, it may sound a little bit complicated, but at the end of the day, it's very easy. So arrays is just a list of elements, or you can say it, array is just a list of data. So let's just create an array. So again, for to store an array, we need a variable. So I'm just going to create a variable called arr. Okay, arr, you can name this anything. So I'm just going to name it like cars. Okay, so cars is going to be an array, and to create an array, just use this square brackets. Okay, use this square brackets, and inside of this you can basically store multiple strings or any kind of data. So here what I'm doing here, I'm just storing a list of like cars names like Ford, Chevy, Honda, Toyota, etc, etc. And by the way, array can store any kind of thing. So if I just create an array like arr equals to, you can store numbers as well, so it doesn't even matter. Okay, you can store some number as well here. And by the way, you, as I told you, like you can store anything. But there is a fun fact in like the array of JavaScript, which makes the array of JavaScript different from array of any other programming language. I'm just going to tell you, just give me 5 minutes. So by the way, you can store anything, like literally anything inside an array. An array is, at the end of the day, is just a list of elements. And what are these elements? Like this is element, this is element. So elements are just values. Okay, so if you don't want if you just don't want to create a multiple variables to store something, you can just create an array and you can store the data inside of it. But the fun fact is, in many other languages, an array is a list of similar type of elements. So like as you can see here, all the elements are type of string. Okay, so it's a valid array for all the programming languages. But in JavaScript, you can create an array with some different type of data types. So if I just create an array, I can create a two. Okay, Chandra, and what I can do here, I can also put a false here. So as you can see, this is an array with different type of elements. It's valid in JavaScript, but as I feel like in most of the programming languages, it is not. But in JavaScript, you can do this. I don't know why you are going to do this, but it is what it is. So by the way, let me just tell you more about arrays. So if I just do a console.log for the array, and what you're going to get, I think you guessed it already. We are going to get an array. So let me just show it to you. If I just open my inspect element, let's just go to the console, and here I am getting an array. So as you can see here, each element have a specific number. And what is this number? This is the index actually. So behind the scene, JavaScript is just going to basically assign uh, a number to all the elements, and number starts from 0. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, and it goes on. Okay, so which this is called the index. So the index of 4 is 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that's, and what is the use of index? I'm just going to tell you what is the use of this index. By the way, you can see the list of like our whole array here. So you can just create a number of arrays, like whatever you want to do. So suppose we don't want to access all the elements in the array. So if I just do a console.log of cars, I'm getting this whole list. Suppose you just want to access the Honda. How we are going to do this? It's very easy. Here, like index comes into the picture. So what we can do here, this, as I just told you, each and every element is going to have an index. An index starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. And if you want to access Honda, what is the index of Honda? Is 2. So just go over here and put this square brackets, and inside this square brackets, just put the index number for the element that you want to access. That's all. So cars, and if I just put here square bracket and 2 here, and if I just do console.log, I'm just going to get the Honda. And if I just do 0 here, I'm going to get Ford. If I just put 1 here, I'm just going to get the Chevy, and let's go on. So you can just get each and every element separately if you want. So that's the use case of those index. I hope I'm clear. If not, just ping me in the live chat so that I can clear it out. So by the way, that's all about arrays. Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, cars too. Yeah, that's great. You're audible a bit. How I'm audible a bit? Which font you're using? Not visible. Oh my God, you people have all sorts of problem. So for somebody I'm not audible, for somebody I'm not visible. Okay, that's great. Okay, clear. That, as I told you, it's very easy. Sir, can JavaScript array stores dislimit data types? Yes. Anish Sharma, yes. In JavaScript, you can basically store anything into an array. I'll just show it to you. By the way, the use cases are less, not so much, but still it's a possibility in JavaScript, because JavaScript is so flexible. You can do whatever you want to do in JavaScript. Yeah. Roll number 14, Abhishek Sharma. There is multiple ways to create an array, but we are just like focusing on all the basics here. Okay, that's great. By the way, don't leave, because I'm going to announce the winner, and you have a bonus topic at the very end. So if you just want to like see both the things, just stay here. Can we clear the class in JS? Yeah, you can create a class. I think you are asking about create. Can we add another index by using the comma? No, you cannot. You cannot access the single element. Yeah. Hi, by the way, you can do it. Comma, cars, fine. Is 2. Okay. So we are going to get Chevy and Honda here. Okay, that's great. Now let me just show you to you. Like arrays are powerful. Yes, they can. You can do a sort of thing with this. Let me just show you to you. Array can store one more thing. Like array can store anything. So why we cannot store like directly object here? So I'm just going to store the object here. So let me just create an object, and to create an object, what we do? We just use this curly brackets, and inside of this, I'm just going to store an object. Okay, that's great. And I'm just going to store multiple object here. So let's just store two objects for now. So this is an array which is actually storing two objects. Yeah, it have element of type objects. So this is the way we can create an object. Let me just give you a quick recap how to create an object. OBJ, and you can create an object, but just using these curly braces. Inside of this, you can make key value pairs. So key could be anything like name and John, and you can have like multiple key values here. Okay, that's great. And you can access the whole object. If I just do a console.log of obj, I am going to get the whole object. If you want to see, I will let you know that yes, we are actually getting whole object. If you just want to access any one thing, so just put a dot here, dot name, and if I just save it, I'm just going to get the John. Okay, that's great. Now this is an object, and here we have an array of object. And for that, suppose if I just do a console.log for the whole array, console.log of cars, I'm just going to get the whole array here. Okay, and if you see closely, it's an array with two objects inside of it, and each object is again having an index because each element inside an array have a particular index. So suppose if I just want to access this object, what I'm going to do let me know in the chat. What if you just wanted to access this object? And let me just give you a quick hint. All the objects, again, all these are all the elements, so they have like indexes. So index of this object is 0 and the index of this thing is 1. And I hope you're just going to answer this thing, because if अगर नहीं दे पाए तो मैं बंद कर दूंगा stream. Where is the quiz? Okay, Gaurav Agarwal is actually spamming us, like he want to know where is the quiz, and like if he wants to know where is the quiz, I also want to know. So let me just give me 1 second. I will let you know where is the quiz. Till then, just answer. Okay. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, here we are. Yeah, okay. So most of you have guessed correctly. All we have to do is to use these curly square brackets inside of it. Just put 1 here because the index of this thing is 1. If I just give it a save, we are going to get the only object, this one object. And now if you just wanted to access the model number, how I am able to access the model number? Suppose I just want to access this thing. How you are going to achieve it? अगर आंसर दे दिया, so you are like you're true heroes if you answer this thing. Okay, I didn't get any assignment links. Today you are going to get the assignment. Yeah, you answered correctly. Just do let me know that if I just want to access this thing, like this Corolla, how we are going to do this. Like I just want to access this property. And till you people are answering the question, let me just go and check how you're going to take participate. Telegram. So by the way, I got the information. The quiz are held on the Telegram group. So first of all, you have to join the Telegram group, and I will let you know what is the name of Telegram group. Yeah, just give me 1 second. No name. Okay. Okay. Just join the Telegram. Yeah. Just join the Telegram, and there we are having the quizzes and all, and so that you can win the prizes. And I'm just going to announce the winners, by the way. Don't worry, because I'm not going to steal your money. Okay, that's great. Dhruv and Rohit, Gaurav, Dhruv again. Yeah. Oh, that's very great. I'm so proud of you. And now I feel like okay, इतने दिनों से मैं time waste नहीं कर रहा था. You people are really getting some things. Okay, so here we are model की spelling error. Okay. So now we are getting this single property. That's great. One task done. Let's move to the second topic. Now this thing is completed. Now let's move to the loops. Okay, so loops is again a tricky concept, but as you can see, मैं हर topic को tricky ही बोल रहा हूँ. So actually nothing is very tricky. All you need is a decent trainer, or a good trainer like me, so it's very easy for you to understand. Okay, so let's suppose you have a use case where you want to perform a piece of code again and again with some conditions or without some condition. You just want to print a table of 2. It could be anything. Yeah, it can be anything. So how you are going to do that? Okay, so suppose I just want to print console.log. I am a I am a good boy. Okay, if you just want to print this thing again and again, like 10 times, you like if your teacher is have given you punishment, like you have to write this thing 100 times. How you are going to do that? One way is to like do it like this way. So yeah, it's like it's going to do your task like, but it's not like, obviously it's not a good way to do the coding. So we are not going to do this. We are going to make an array. Sorry, we are going to use for loops. And let me just tell you, let me just write the syntax of a loop. And I'm just also going to tell you something which I feel like is for little important for the loops, and nobody tells you about it. So the syntax of loop is just type for here. Okay, like we used to type if, just type for, and after that put these brackets, and just create these curly brackets. Okay, and inside this you have to put two semicolons. Okay, and whatever you write inside of these curly brackets is just going to be looped. Okay, and now the whole our goal is to fill these things. Okay, these things. So in the first part, okay, this first part, whatever you write here is just going to be executed one time. Okay, don't, no worries. Let me just create a variable here. Let I, okay, let I equals to 0. Okay, and if I is less than 10, and I plus plus. Okay, that's great. So we have created an loop, and I'm just going to explain it to you. By the way, I think I mistakenly did a wrong. Oh, mm, I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy. Okay. कंडीशन तो गलत नहीं लिख दी मैंने, बिल्कुल ध्यान नहीं दिया था. Here we are, and here we are getting our console.log, like I am a good boy 10 times. So basically it's logged 10 times. If something is logged, if you just log out the same thing multiple times, your console panel will not actually just console log it, it will just tell the number. So this thing is logged out 10 times. Okay, I can show it to you that this thing is logged out 10 times. If you just save it, so we are getting I'm a good boy, I'm a good boy, I'm a good boy, etc, etc, etc. Now let's just understand this syntax. Okay, how loop actually working. So for that, just type for here. Okay, just type for. Okay, and these brackets, whatever you write here is just going to be repeat whatever number of times you have specified the condition for. So console.log hello. Okay, the whole magic is in this part. Okay, so whatever first of all, we actually need to create a number. So what we are actually going to do, we are going to create a variable. Okay, we are going to create a variable. So you can name that variable anything. So suppose we created a variable I. Okay, and what we are going to do, we are going to check a condition. We are going to check for a condition. If I is less than 10, if I is less than 100, if I is greater than, or if I is equals to, whatever you want to do, you can do it. And what we are going to do, we are going to update the value of I. After checking, we are also going to update the value of I. And if that condition is true, if that condition, if I is less than 10 is true, we are going to execute this part. Okay, and after this execution, we are going to update the value of I. You can increment it, you can decrement it, you can do whatever you want to do. And we are going to again check, like after the update, like after the value of I is updated, the condition is true again or not. So that's the only case. So let me just, for those who are not comfortable with English, let me just repeat it in Hindi because it's a little bit tricky to understand in the first game. So the thing is, what we are going to do, अपन एक वेरिएबल बनाएंगे, एंड द सेकंड थिंग वी आर गोइंग टू डू, अपन फिर उस वेरिएबल की वैल्यू को चेक करेंगे, किसी कुछ भी कंडीशन से चेक कर सकते हो, लाइक यू कैन चेक इट विथ वॉट एवर. द ओनली गेम इज, अगर वो जो तुमने चेक किया है अगर वो ट्रू निकलता है, तो ये जो लिखा है ना ये एग्जीक्यूट हो जाएगा, अदरवाइज इट विल नॉट एग्जीक्यूट और लूप खत्म हो जाएगा वहीं पे. एंड आफ्टर दिस एग्जीक्यूशन, लाइक जैसे अपन ने कंडीशन चेक करी, कंडीशन अगर ट्रू निकली, ये वाला कोड चलेगा. एंड आफ्टर दैट व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू, आई की वैल्यू को अपडेट कर देंगे, लाइक कुछ भी अपडेट कर सकते हो, और फिर अपन फिर से कंडीशन चेक करेंगे. So why we are doing this? So that basically we can stop a loop somewhere. So the game is to stop a loop. The game is not to start a loop. The starting loop is very easy. If I just remove everything from here, it's just going to be work forever. If I just put a true here, it's just going to work forever. But this is not what we want. We just want to basically stop the loop. And now why it's working like this? So here I have created a variable in the first part. Here I've created a variable I, and after that we should put a semicolon. And here is the condition. And here we are checking if the value of I is less than 10, we will execute this code. Okay. So suppose let's dry run this program. And what is dry run? Actually, we will execute this program in our minds. Okay. So let's suppose loop start from here. Value of I is 0. Okay. And then we will check this condition. The value of I is less than 10. Okay. 0 is obviously less than 10. So we are going to get true here. So if we are getting true, this piece of code will get executed. Okay. This thing will get executed. And we are going to get console.log of I am good boy and I here. So value of I is 0. And after this execution, we are going to update the value. So what is this thing? So basically it's the short form of I equals to I plus 1. Okay. It is equals short form of I equals to I plus 1. So let me just make it clear to you. So suppose if I have a variable a, okay, and what I can do if I just make it let, and as I told you, you can reassign the value. So I can just make it 12, I can make it 15, or what I can do, I can just do this 35, and I can do this 1 plus 10. If I just want to make the increment value 1 plus 10. And instead of this 10, what I can put a here, because the value of a was 10. So what I can do, I can just put a here. So by the end of the day, a equals to a plus 1. So 1 plus, and what is the value of a? 10. Okay. So if you just want to increment the value of any variable by 1, what we can do, instead of writing this, all you have to do a plus plus. So the value of a will be 11. Okay. So after each iteration, we are incrementing the value of I by 1. Okay. We are doing this I 1. Okay. Now in starting, the value of I was 0. Okay. I was 0. So the condition was true. So we executed this thing. And after that, we incremented the value of I. So the value of I is now 1. And again, we will check the condition. I is less than 10. Okay. Yes, obviously, like 1 is less than 10. True. And we will execute this part, and this will continue. Suppose we are now into 6, 6, 7, 8, 9. And as soon as we reach 10, so 10 is less than 10, no, false. So if this thing is false, this loop will stop. Okay. Okay. So again, by the way, just let me just go through the chat. Okay. So you got the idea, like what I just told you. Okay. I love the teaching. Thank you. And I am just going to tell you more about the loop, this for loop, so that you can brag in your friends. Like thoda sa show of material. I will just give a little bit of show of material if you understood this part. So let me just give you a quick recap. By the way, let's just decrease this number to 3. So now the let I equals to 0. So we will start our loop from 0. Now the value of this thing is 3. And if now loop will execute 3 times only. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And if I just put, by the way, we are not going to use the loop in our program, but still I'm just going to explain it to you in very depth. Okay, so now the loop is going to be executed 5 times. Now let me just tell you some internal matter. Okay, some internal things. So now the for loop is actually for how for loop works. If you just pass true here, if you just pass true here, so for loop will actually check for the true value here. If you have true value here, this piece of code will get executed. If I just put a true here directly, this loop will execute forever. No matter what we are doing, it will just execute forever. Okay. So it's just going to be get into infinite loop. So as you can see, it just get in the loop is in infinite. And now my browser is going to be like hang. So I'm just going to put false here. If I just put a false here, okay, so now okay, it's freezed. So let I have to like restart it one more time. So don't get into the infinite loop. Okay, infinite loops are not good for your browser and all. Okay. Okay, let's just go over here. Okay, pairs of console panel. Okay, here we are. So now the loop is not even executing. So that's why we were putting some condition here. So that's why I was putting this thing like 5 or 10, something like that. Now let me just tell you one more thing. Now you know what? Why we are writing in this way? Because whenever this for loop starts working, this whatever you write here will get execute before the for loop is even started. Let me just repeat this thing in Hindi also. For loop start होने के पहले ही जो भी यहाँ पे लिखोगे वो एक बार चलता है. ठीक है, यहाँ पे तुम जो भी लिखोगे वो एक बार चलता है. Even this part is not even necessary, you can remove it. And but basically we need to initialize the value of I, so you can do it outside also. It will work completely fine. As you can see, it was working. So fun fact is, whatever you write here will run one time. So if I just put console.log here, console.log here, I ran before execution, before loop, okay, once. If I just give it a save, and you will see that this line is executing, that console.log. So that was the fun fact. Yeah, so whatever you write in the first part is actually going to be executed one time. That's why we generally prefer to initialize some variable here. That's why we generally do it. Okay. Okay, that's great. That's great. And as I told you, and now the next step is loop will check for the true value here. If there is true, this piece of the code will get executed. And after this piece of code is executed, it will execute this part, the third part. So that's why we generally update the value here. So whatever you write here will get executed after this execution, after the execution of the code. Now let me just repeat in Hindi also. जो भी यहाँ लिखोगे वो एक बार चलेगा. यहाँ पे फिर लूप चेक करता है कि ट्रू लिखा है क्या. अगर यहाँ पे ट्रू होगा तो फिर वो ये चलेगा. ठीक है, अंदर का कोड. दैट्स व्हाई वी जनरली पुट अ कंडीशन हियर. और जैसे ये कोड कंप्लीट हो जाता है उसके बाद ये थर्ड वाला पार्ट चलता है, इसलिए हम यहाँ पे अपडेट वगैरह करते हैं. सो दिस इज द लॉजिक behind this syntax. I'm damn sure nobody is going to tell you this. And even though you didn't understand anything, no worries. It was just also out of syllabus. So I was just like, okay, thoda sa third day tak aaye, so let me just tell you some extra stuff. Okay. No matter if this is true first, it will be executed. If the statements, no, you have to put a true here. If you put a false here, the statement will not even execute once. If you just put a false here, it will not get executed. By the way, these are some cool stuff. You don't have to memorize it. All you have to do, memorize this thing. And like it will help you sometimes after some few years when you will sit for an interview or something, and if interviewer is just going to ask you this question, and that day you will remember this stream. Okay, Sanjay sir have told me about this concept, and you will thank me forever because of the job you got, because of this life. Okay, that's great. Now let's move to the second kind of loop. So this is the most common used loop. Okay, this is the loop that we generally use. But we have two more kind of loops that you are not ever going to use. So I'm just going to skip, like I'm just going to tell you about how we are going to write this. So the second kind of loop is called while loop. So for that, just type while here. So while a loop actually works same as the for loop. If you just pass true here, whatever you write inside of it is just going to be executed. So let me just type here, I am while loop. Okay, I am while loop. Okay, that's great. So whatever you write here is just going to be like this thing is same as the second part here. Okay, so again we are not going to do this, otherwise it's just going to be executing forever. So if you just want to see, if I just give it a save, we are going to see this thing is logging out forever. And now my laptop is again going to freeze. So before it happens, I'm just going to close it. Localhost 5506. Okay, so my this is my Nginx server. Okay, that's why I hate infinite loop. I think my browser is not responding. Okay, so I think we are in little bit of trouble. Again, just do let me know in the chat if I'm visible. Okay, I think I have to close some processes here. Okay, that's great. Let's see. Okay, I think it's frozen. laptop just got froze. It was freezing. But actually, that's actually, as I told you, that if you just put a true in the while loop, it will get execute forever. So that actually what happened. So it crashed for that's why. And by the way, let me just so we are not just actually not going to put a true or false here. So we are just going to put a condition here. But now we have to initialize. We have to write this part, initialization part, outside of the loop, because obviously it does not have this kind of flexibility. Okay. Again, by the way, let me just know that if I'm use array, voice is not visible, don't need this info before opening the course. Yeah, okay. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Now it's going to work forever. Okay. Difference between for and while loop. Yes, I'm just going to cover that. Okay. By the way, again, okay, don't leave. Yeah. Now I'm visible to you and audible as well. Okay. So now let me just create a variable like j equals to 0. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to write thing like this. If j is less than 6, we are going to execute this thing. And now the updation part we have to do at the very end of this, whatever you are doing here. So just put like the updation here at the very end. Okay. And by the way, there's no difference between for loop and the while loop. The only difference is in the syntax. So you can use whatever you feel comfortable with. So if I just open localhost 5500, okay, and if you just go over here and let me just open our console. So as here you can see, I am while loop and we are getting the output 6 times. Okay, that's great. Now we are working. And similarly, we have one more kind of loop that is called do while loop. So again, it's very easy. Just how to write do while loop. Just remove this while from here, cut it, paste it at the very end, and at the very top, just type do. Okay, so this is do while loop. And there is a difference between do while and while loop. The do while loop will get executed for once, no matter if you even pass a false here. So even though if I just pass a false here, this piece of code is going to execute one time. Okay, no matter whatever you pass here. Okay, that's the only difference between do and do while loop. So let me just remove this for loop here. And here we are getting I am do while loop, even though I have passed false here. So this loop should not even work, but it's just going to execute one time. So in the case of while loop, if you just pass a false here, this thing is not even going to start. But if you just convert into do while loop, that's very easy. Just cut it, put at the very end, and instead of this while here, just type do. Okay, and if I just give it a save, just thing is just going to execute for the once. Okay, for one time. So that's the only reason. I don't feel like there should be any confusion, but mostly we are just going to use a for loop because it's very flexible and very comfortable to work with. Personally, I use for loop and while loop most of the time, but in some edge cases you can also work with the do while loop. Okay, so let's just move to our next topic. Okay, the next topic is, okay, I think we have covered these all things. Okay, now what I'm going to do, we can also loop over an array. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to loop all the elements present in an array. So let me just create an array here, array. And what we are going to do, let me just create an array of cars. Okay, cars. Okay, okay, let me just create an array of cars. Okay. Okay, like Honda. Okay, let me just Toyota, Ford, Chevrolet, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and Volkswagen. I think this much is enough. Okay, that's great. Now I just want to loop over this array. How we are going to do that? Before that, let me just tell you one more thing. If you just want to know the length of an array, what you can do actually here, you have to just type cars dot length. Okay, the name of the array dot length, and you will basically get the length of that array. So we are getting 8 here. Okay, isn't it clear? Okay. And now, by the way, I'm going to announce the winner for all the people who are still here. So let's hope that the winner is in within you. So let me just open the PPT and let's see who is the winner. And I have an announcement for you as well. Okay. So the winner, Shirisha, got the first prize. I think okay. Shirisha got the first. Congratulations to you, and you won like 500 rupees of Amazon gift voucher. And at the second position, we have Ved Barbhaya, and you are going to get 150 LU coins, and you can utilize this thing to basically have like all the goodies, and you can like get your certificates and all. Like there are many use cases for LU coins. And for the third position, we have Tulashi Venkata. Okay, Monza. Sorry if I just pronounce your name not properly because my English and my other languages are not good enough. By the way, congratulations to you. Ping me in the chat like if you are into in the list of the winners, and don't forget to take part in the quiz that we actually going to be held after this session on Telegram. Okay, let's move to the next topic and what we are going to do here. So let me just how we will join. Okay, so like just look for the group. All good, continue. That's great. And let's move to the next part. And the next part is what we are going to do. We actually want to loop over an array. And for that, what I told you that if you just want to find the length of an array, just do array.length. And if you just give it a save, okay, just give me 1 second. Okay. I think you were listening to music in the background. Actually, that was the ringtone of my phone. So I was just making it silent. Okay, that's good. Now, if you just want to loop over an array, actually we have two ways to do that, but I'm just going to use the for loop here. So okay, here we are. For in the first part, we are just going to create a new variable. So let I equals to 0 because this thing is going to execute only one time. Okay, and after that, I just want to execute this loop until and unless I is less than equals to length of the car. Okay, so length. Okay, and each and after the each iteration, I just want to increase the value of I. So instead of only change with the change we are doing here is we are putting cars dot length instead of a number. So we could have put like 10 here, but we don't know the length of the array. So we just want to execute this loop for the length of the array. So that's why I'm just going to put cars dot length here, and we are going to get the length here. Okay. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do console dot log of I. Okay, console.log of I here. And if I just give it a save, we are going to get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it doesn't look like the index. So what I can do here, console.log, and if you just want to access any particular element from an array, what we actually do, cars, or like the name of the array, the square bracket, and we put a number here, like 3, 1, 0, whatever the index that you want to access. And now this I is actually a number. So let's suppose I take the case where this loop is starting. So what will actually happen that it will start from this. So I equals to 0, and obviously I equals to 0, and the length of the car is 8. So 0 is less than 8. Obviously we are going to get true here. So we will get true here. And now this piece of code will get execute, and the value of I is 0. So cars, if I just put a I here, so it's just going to convert into cars and 0. So we are going to get the element at the position cars 0. Okay, and similarly at each iteration this number of I, like value of I is just going to increase, and we are going to get the whole list like in this manner. So let me just show it to you. Okay, so we can log out all the elements in this way. Okay, so that's great. So now what I can do, even like you can do all sort of stuff here. You can put some conditions as well. Okay, so let me just check. Suppose you have a list of array with all the like all the data here, and if you want to check if this list have a specific element, suppose if you want to check, okay, if this element have a this array have a element called BMW, you want to check how you're going to do this. It's very easy. Upon like we will just do a loop over this array, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to check if cars, and here just I'm just going to put the I is equals to BMW. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to log out the found BMW. Okay, so let me just go over here, and we got found BMW. If I just remove it, we won't get this output. so we are not getting anything. So how we are able, like how we are achieving this? It's very easy. You can basically write whatever inside, whatever in this block. So here I'm just writing a if block here. So if this cars dot I, so this thing will, for the first loop, it will be equals to Honda. For the first loop, it will be like cars, and for the first loop, the value of I is going to be 0. So cars 0 is like, it is actually Honda, and Honda is obviously not equals to BMW. So this piece of code will not get executed. And at this part, the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. At the fourth, like if the cars and the value of I is equals to 4, so we will have 4 here. And the fourth element is BMW, and BMW is equals to BMW. So we will log out this for BMW. Okay, that's great. Now let's move to the second part. If you even don't got the previous that loop section, no worries. We are going to do this again tomorrow. Now let me just tell you about most interesting topic of the today's lecture is we are going to access the elements from this HTML. Okay, and this is actually called DOM manipulation. Okay, the DOM manipulation. So JavaScript actually have a DOM, and what is this DOM? Like DOM. And the full, like I'm just going to get into little bit of theory. It's just going to be little bit boring, but stay with me for just 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes. So DOM stands for document object model. Okay, and document object model is actually a representation of your HTML in a object. Okay, so like if I just, like suppose it actually look like this. So we have HTML here. Inside the HTML we have body. Okay, then we have head. Okay, inside the body we have like a division, and we can have multiple division here. Okay, and each division can have multiple division inside of it. So by the way, it doesn't matter if you know our DOM or not. I'm just going to tell you how to access the element from the DOM. So suppose if I just want to access, let's say the heading. Okay, if you just want to access this thing, okay, this heading. So let me just tell you some ways how you can access anything from your HTML. So let me just give this element a ID of title. I hope you know what is this ID is. So basically you can provide ID to each and every HTML element, and ID should be unique, by the way. So what you have to do in your, like on your JavaScript, just to document dot get element by ID. Okay, and it's a function actually. Okay, so it's a function. Why it's how to know something is a function? Because we know how to create a function. So if I just create my own function, like my function, okay, and console.log, I am a function. Okay, and to execute some function, what we do, we just put this thing here, and we can also pass some values here, isn't it? So I can pass my name here. Okay, like let me just pass JavaScript here, and we can access this value here. Okay, like a language, and I can just use it inside of the function. So it doesn't look like console.log. So console.log is again a function. It's a pre-built function, and we actually pass the parameter here. I am a console log. That's why we are getting. So whenever you see these brackets, okay, just understand it's a function. And now document is an object. So I actually skipped one thing, and what is this? So I'm just going to cover that now, that you cannot store only the values inside of a function, inside of an object. You can also store the functions. So let me just create an object for you. Const object, and like name John, age 30. Okay, now what I can do, I can also create a function here. So let me just create a function, show. Okay, show, and you can just put a function here. Okay, and console.log, I am John. Okay, and if you just give it a save, and let me just log out it for you, console.log, console.log obj, and if I just give it a quick save, and if I just go over here, you are going to see that it's an object with a function inside of it. And how to access this function? Obviously we are going to put a dot here. So to access anything inside an object, what we do, dot. So dot show, and this show is a function, so we can execute this thing. So we just have to put this curly brackets, and this function is executed. Similarly in this fashion, document is again an object with a function called getElementById. This document object is automatically created for you by the JavaScript. So it have all the functions, all the things which is necessary to like manipulate your HTML. Okay, now here we are. So inside this thing, you have to pass the ID of the element that you want to access. So I just want to access the title. Okay, the ID, the element with the ID title. So this thing, and now this function is going to return us that element. So as I told you, each and every function can return us something. It can return us anything. So like hello. Okay, so we can basically store the return value inside of another variable like const res equals like this. Similarly, what we are going to do, we are going to store this element in a variable. So const title, you can name this variable anything, but I just generally prefer to name these two things similar so that it's easier for us to understand. So now if I just do a console.log of the title, and if I just go over here, and you will see that we are actually getting that whole element. Okay, we are actually getting the whole element here. So it's exactly same as this thing. Yeah, we are actually getting this whole element, and now we can do all sort of stuff with this element. Okay, before continuing, let me just go through the chat. Like अभी तक तो तुम लोग अभी को ऐसा घूम चुके होगे. Yeah, Utpal Patel, function is a method inside of an object. I will tell you this. ID is unique, obviously. So is there you people have any sort of doubt? Do let me know in the chat so that I can cover it for you. Okay, function is a method. Okay, by the way, till you people are writing all of your doubts here, if you have any, let me just tell you one more thing. Inside of an object, all these variables are actually called properties. Okay, the name is changed, but nothing is different. The name is changed. Okay, these are called the properties, and a function inside of an object is actually called method, but it doesn't matter. It's a function. Okay, so it's a method. People will say it a method, but it's a function. Like programmers are not really good with naming of the things, so they generally prefer to mess up with the naming stuff and all. So by the way, all the functions inside of an object is called a method, by the way, if you just want to know. So I just let you know. It's okay. Okay, that's great. And let me just go through the chat so that I can read some of your doubts if you have any. Please talk in English on that. Yeah, Gayatri, I'm generally preferring to talk in English, but for little bit of audience, I'm just saying like in little bit of Hindi. Yeah, I will just continue. All the topics will be covered in English only because we have, yes, but for interview it matters. Yeah, Utpal, yeah, for the interview it matters a lot. Yeah, that's great. Okay, okay. So I think function inside of an object is called as a method. Yeah. Saikiran, yes, you have guessed correct. Okay, let's just move to the next part. Now, what I can do with this element. So let me just show it to you. Let me just open this thing. Now we can change anything inside of this element. So we have grabbed the element, okay, and we have stored the element in a variable called title. Now what I can do, if you just want to change the inner HTML, if you just want to put HTML inside of this element, okay, just do title.inner. Let me just change the text first. Okay, so if you just want to change the text content inside of this element, just put title.text content and equals to whatever you want to write it here. Okay, so changed data. Okay, changed content, changed by JS comma text content. Okay, and if I just give it a save, anything inside of it is just going to be changed. Okay, so now you can use this thing to modify your HTML page on the go. Okay, now if you can also change the style. So if you just want to change the style, just type title.style or style, and whatever property or whatever CSS property you want to change, you can mention it. Like color is going to be red. If I just save it, the color is changed to red. And what if we have some properties like which have hyphen in? So before that, let me just tell you one more thing. So if you just create a variable, you can as I told you that you can create a variable with you can name your variable anything, but there are some rules. Like you can only use the alphabet from 0 to 9, small a to small z, capital A to capital Z, hyphens like underscores, and all sort of stuff. By the way, you cannot put any kind of a special symbol. So I cannot create a variable with this way. Okay, it's not allowed. So as similarly, the hyphen, this thing, the dash is also not allowed, and it's not also allowed here as well, like creating of the property. So if you have a property which have hyphen in it, like background color, okay. So how we actually write background color? Background color, okay. This is the way we used to write the background color, but it's just going to throw you an error. So what you have to do? Just remove this hyphen, and whatever the letter after of the hyphen is like C, make it capital. This is called camel casing. So now the background color is changed to blue. Okay. So in this way you can basically modify the style. And there's one more way to modify the style. Just put style here, and you can basically type your CSS directly here. So what I'm going to do, if you just want to, like, you can just type all of your CSS here, like whatever CSS you want to write here, like box shadow border. Okay, that's great. Now I can remove these two properties. Okay, and now if I just give it a save, the styling is changed. Let me just put green. Okay, so but if you want to write styling in this manner, I generally will prefer to use the backtick instead of single quote. So don't use single quote. So there is one more difference between backtick and single quote. Remember yesterday that I told you that you can basically directly put any variable inside of a string. So if I just create a string, and if I have a variable like name, and the name is Sanjay, and if I just want to create a string like my name is, what I have to do, like this thing. Okay, but suppose if you don't want to do this, so you can just convert it into backtick. So just put backtick, and you can just do this. Okay, so this is a much preferred way. But there is one more difference here, that in the case of backtick, you can also have a enter here. Okay, so you can put enter, and the string will actually continue. It won't even get a break. But in the case of the single quote, you will get an error. Okay, so that's why if you're writing the style in this manner, title dot style, I will prefer you to use the backtick. Okay, don't use the single quotes, just use the backtick, and it will be easier for you to write your all of your stylings. Okay, let me just give it a save. Okay, here we are. So by the way, you can choose any of the way accordingly, but there is one more way, like we have multiple ways to do style the content. But before that, let me just tell you one more thing. You can also grab an element, and you can set up a listener. So that is our last topic for today's session. And let me just go through the chat if you have any kind of doubt, so that I can clear that for you. Okay, how about the DOM? Some of you us didn't get it. Okay, I'm just going to use it. Explain. I doesn't understand the function method. Yeah, I will cover that. Sir, what is the name of the VS Code theme? Okay, I will cover that. What's the today's project? Today actually we don't have project. We were about to complete this project today, but as I can see, the time is already over. No worries, we will cover all the project, even though if it takes a day or two more, we are going to have a session like extended. Okay, that's great. Continue, sir. What is the name of the? Yes, I'm going to answer this question. Like every time when I do a live, the biggest question I ask every time is, what is the theme I'm using? So the theme is material community. Okay, so community material theme. So it's a collection of theme. You can choose any of the theme. I generally like the high contrasty theme. That's why I just use it, because I am a night owl, and most of the time I work as in the night time and with my back pain. So that's why I'm standing here, because I have a back pain. So yeah, so this is the theme, and the font I'm using for my VS Code is Dank Mono. So Dank Mono is the font that I'm using, and for the web for this website purpose, I generally go with Poppins. So Poppins is one of my favorite font. Okay, let me clear the one doubt. Like this doubt, does somebody have this doubt, like what function inside of an object? So let me just create an object for you. So you can basically create an object, and each object can have like the properties. So what are these properties? The key value pair. So you can create name John, and now I can access this thing, console.log obj.name. So if I just open my console panel, we are going to get John here. Okay, so you can also have like age 20, and now I can access the age as well. And if I just do simply object, I am just going to get the whole object. But apart from all the values, like is married also, is married false. Okay, the spelling of married is not correct. So I can write here is married. So it's just going to be false. Okay, so John is single, like. Okay, so what you can do here, you can directly pass a function, you can create a function. So just you can name your function anything. So like my fun, put a semicolon, and after that just type the function. But the key difference is you don't have to put any name here. But if you just create a function and like in regular fashion, like if you create a function here, like you have to put a name of function. Okay, but in this case you basically don't have to put any name, and even though you put any name, it doesn't going to like affect anything. So it doesn't, don't put any name, because we have already defined the name here. And whatever you write inside of it, like console.log, I am a function. Okay, and now I can access this. So if I just do object dot my function, I'm getting a function. Okay, so if I just log out whole object, you will get the whole object here. And as you can see, my function my fun is a function. And if I just try to log out it, like my fun, and if I just give it a save, we are going to get the whole code for the function. And obviously we are not going to use a function in this manner. We'll generally do this. So yeah, we call our function. So the function is executed. And for the guy who has doubt related to the DOM manipulation, so we are going to cover that tomorrow. So tomorrow is actually the whole session related to the DOM. Okay, okay, that's great. So now what I want, like I was now let me just tell you one more thing. So by the way, I'm just going to share this project with you by deploying it. Okay, so we have actually, suppose we have created our whole project, and now how to deploy your project on the internet so that you can share it with anyone. So for that, I'm just going to tell you about a platform where you can share all of your code. So just Google something called Netlify. Okay, Netlify, okay, netlify.com. And what let me just Netlify and press enter, and open this Netlify. Okay, and inside this after like googling it, just open the Netlify, and I'm just going to tell you how to deploy your website on the internet. So just sign up. It's very easy. It's same as signing up for any social networking site like Facebook or Instagram. So I'm just going to log in because I already have an account here. So I'm just going to use my GitHub to log in. You can use email, GitLab, whatever you want. It's same as logging into Facebook or something like that. Here you have to click over to this add new site. Okay, add new site. And after that, just go to this part. Okay, deploy manually. Okay, first step, like you will get as soon as you log in, you will see this screen. Okay, you will get a different screen, but it will be same. Deploy manually, click on the deploy manually, and after that you have to drag and drop the project in which you were creating your code. So like we were doing our stuff here, but keep in mind that your the HTML file, the name of your HTML file should be index.html. Okay, you have to name your HTML file index.html. That's the only catch, and rest is same. And now all you have to do is to drag and drop this folder here, and now wait for a while, and it will not deploy it, and it will take like 3 to 4 minutes to get deployed. And I will just show it to you how it's going to look on the web. And before like ending the session, don't go, because I have an announcement for you. Like this is the best time. Like yes, I am doing a little bit promotion, but let me hear me out seriously. So we have like full stack program, which is actually job guaranteed program. So you can join that program, and it's the best time to join that program because we are starting our new batch from 10th of September. Okay, so where is the announcement here? Let me just check. Okay, okay, so new batch are starting from 10th of September, so you can join right now. And if you just want any discount on that course, just go to the description and you will find a coupon code here, SK10. So Sanjay Kumar 10, and you will get instant 10% off on all the courses. So just go to our website, and here there you will find the full stack program for web development and for the machine learning. So we have like course for the full stack web development and data science, and we are going to have a lot of fun there. Like these are completely job guaranteed program, and the duration of the course is 6 months, and I hope you won't regret. And let's see if our website is deployed yet. It takes little bit of time to get deployed. Let me just give it a quick refresh. Okay, so now our website is deployed on the internet. So as I can see, this is deployed on the internet, and they will give you a random name. So they will basically give you a random name here. So the name is imaginative hyphen something something. And if you want to change it, just go to the domain setting, and here you will find this. Okay, you can custom domain. Just go over here, just put the edit name, and you can name this anything like JS okay, JS day 4, date 3, I think it's date 3. So I have deployed this website with the name js hyphen dash day 3.netlify.com. So I will just share it to with you here in the chat, and we are going to make this thing tomorrow. It was like it was planned to be completed today, but it was like phony pie. So this is the website. You can visit it, and you can also create your project, and you can deploy it for free, and you can share it with your friends, and you can show off as well. So this was the like the extra topic that I want to cover today. And by the way, thank you for joining. I hope you had a great time in the today's live. Netlify and Versal and GitHub for hosting. Yeah, you can use it, Nandini. You can use your own website, host it. It's free. It's free. Yeah, you have to buy the domain. Yeah, you have to buy the proper domain, and they will, by the way, yeah, they will give you a free domain. But the only catch is the domain will end with netlify.app. Okay, so it's free for this reason only. Okay. Can I send you connection to LinkedIn? Yeah, if you want, you can. Okay, you have to see the assignment in the group, okay, in the Telegram group. By the way, thank you for joining. मेरे को बहुत भूख लग रही है. I'm really hungry, so I will meet you tomorrow. Don't forget to join tomorrow's session, because tomorrow we are going to cover this project, and day after tomorrow we are going to make a game. So like a proper game that again you can deploy it on the internet and you can share it with a friend. Try it, do everything. Have some doubts, ask me. Okay, so it will be fun. Okay, so that's all. Bye bye. Have a nice day.